Welcome to The Girl Herd,
where we talk Texas football.
and a bunch of takes you've probably already heard.
But not from us.
Welcome back to another episode of The Girl Herd. I am Angie, and we, of course, are joined by the other founding members of The Girl Herd, Devin and Michelle. And today's a little bit special of a day. We not only are celebrating one of our very own Devin's birthday, but we have a very amazing guest with us today, one of the best in the biz when it comes to talking about Texas athletics and Longhorn sports, Mr. Cory Mose.
Hola, what's poppin', everybody? This feels like a comfortable space for me. I grew up with three sisters, so
There you go.
yeah. This is awesome. So I'm in a comfortable space, and I can't wait to talk ball.
Well, and we all live in Houston. Like Michelle and Devin are from the H. I am now a proud Houstonian and live here, but to add to the layer of comfortability.
Yeah, H-Town hold it down. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Pearland, to be exact, southeast side. Yeah. So I miss Houston though. I will say that. I don't miss the mosquitoes. I know y'all got ridiculous.
So bad.
The irony, we just had a whole conversation about pest control. Fits right in, Cory. You're fitting right in.
Now we just need a sponsor for pest control. Look, we just gave you a great plug.
That's hilarious. Yeah, excited to talk today.
Yeah. Well, start off, give us a little history about you. How did you get started in this business? Where does your love for the Longhorns come from? Let the peeps know.
Yeah, okay, I love this. So basically, grew up wanting to be on TV because of not sports, but funny enough, David Letterman. And so I used to watch David Letterman growing up, and I only did it to stay past my bedtime. I thought I was smarter than my parents. But then as I got older, I started to really watch it. And I was like, wow, this guy has his own name on the show, interviewing cool athletes, but also actors and people in the music industry. And I just thought that was so dope to have your own show and to talk to people about their lives. And so that started the want to be in broadcast. And then eventually, as I got older, I was always a kid that my dad would ask, where did that guy go to school? Or who did that guy play for? Who did he get traded from? And I would just know all the answers because I was so infatuated with the story of all these athletes. And so as you kind of combine the two, and I got into high school, I was like our sports reporter for my high school. We had like a little homeroom class. And so I was an athlete myself. So I was able to just interview the homies and after their basketball games or football games and utilize that as our sports report for the week. And that's how I got my first taste of the business. But yeah, I went to UT Arlington, shout out, Mav up. And then my first job out of college was in Midland, Odessa, West Texas. So that was, pretty cool for me. I know people may think oh, that's horrible. But I loved Friday Night Lights. I love the movie. And so I was literally covering Odessa Permian and Midland Lee. And, they still have the history on their walls in the locker room. They have all the movie characters at Permian outside the locker room and all the actors signed and everything. So they still, embrace that movie. And I love the movie. And it's cool. They still live in that era with Mojo. And they still do the tickets that you have to drive up and at 5 a.m. for Midland Lee versus Odessa. And the whole city shuts down. And it really did feel like the movie still. And so that was real cool to have that be my first market. And eventually I was found in Austin and got a job offer. So glad to be here. I'm excited to be here. But I definitely know the roots that built me to this point.
I was looking behind you. You have a Midland sign behind you, so I was going to ask about it. And I mean, they you joke about it, but they take their sports and their football very seriously. So I could imagine what that was like covering them.
Yeah, they take it seriously, but they're not as good. I wish they would kind of just acknowledge that. If they would acknowledge it, then it's okay, cool. They take it seriously, but we're not going to beat Dallas. We're not going to beat South Lake Carroll or Duncanville. They still have that mindset that they can. That was something that it was tough to cover the team. It's oh yeah, they're going to go far because they beat this Lubbock school. But it's second round, we all know they're cooked. But that sign is actually from my church. So when I left, they got that for me and all the congregation signed it. So shout out True Light Church out there in Midland. And so they were kind of like the foundation for me and my backbone when I was out there. So they helped me build community when there's no family in West Texas. So it was cool to have them.
Yeah.
For your day job, do you cover any of the high school football in Austin or?
Oh yeah, for sure. So All of it. We're the only station in the market that does a 30-minute high school football show on Fridays. And so I usually go to the game of the week and I interview right after the game's over the coach. And I like to do three players. Before I got here, apparently they just did the coach. And that was something I just didn't agree with. I thought that the athletes should have a voice. That was something that in West Texas I started doing, and it just gave the athletes the opportunity, one, to talk in front of a camera and to have a
Yeah.
post game interview. And if they're going to make it to the next level, they need that practice and they need that repetition. And so that's the way I looked at it, as a way for me to help them out in their careers when it comes to the media side. And now when you get to Austin, it's like there's a lot more guys that are going to be going D1 and being in front of these big programs. And eventually you're going to have to do media scrums and talk to press conferences and talk to guys on the field. So I just didn't understand why we weren't doing that here. So I just kind of implemented that. And there's nights where I don't talk to the coach at all. I just talk to the players. And I think that's something that when they go home and watch it back and their parents watch it, it just means more to them than, let's say, a coach that gets talked to all the time. So yeah, I love it. I love talking to the players afterwards. But yeah, 30-minute football show every Friday. I do athlete of the week as well every week. Through football season, I actually just got back from giving a plaque out to a softball player at Leander High School. So yeah, I'm always in the high school scene. That's where my I feel like my heart is at. That's where I started. So I'm not want to give that up.
I love that
That's
you said that.
special.
They definitely need it. Yeah,
hmm
they definitely.
Well,
need
it's funny. It's funny because I was a high school athlete too, and my coach didn't know, but I would have quotes in the paper all the time. Like they wouldn't have really talked to her as much, but they would come over to me or other players. And you're right, like it builds such a confidence to like give young athletes that voice, and it was fun. So I didn't play after high school, but if I had, I would be totally media ready. You're right.
And I think that practice is important, right? Because you don't want to say the wrong things when you get to bigger stakes. It's like me in my industry, you want to make those mistakes at a small market when no one's really watching, like Midland, But then when you get to Austin, you can't make those same mistakes, and there's a bigger penalty that comes with that if you make those mistakes. And so you're right. On the high school level, yeah, you may mess up your words here and there, but once you get in front of Texas media, you can't do that. You can't do that at all. So yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Well, even like the repetition and comfortability, like look at you now, right? Like the personality that you're able to bring now to the shows and what you're covering is so different, I'm sure, than when you started. So if you were to give them any, advice, or people that are looking to get into this industry, like how you get to that point of knowing the balance of who you are and making it unique and the person who you are inside, and flirting with those lines of like playing right to the bigger network and what you do have to say.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing for me would be being patient with yourself and having those reps. Funny enough, a year into my first job in Midland, I got offered the job out here at KB. I had a video go viral. My former boss DM'd me. She found me on Twitter and was just like, "Hey, what's your contract looking like?" And so went through the conversation, and yeah, whole interview process, met the GM here. And the GM was just like, we don't do this for everybody, right? You're 22 years old. You better jump up 100 markets and you're only a year into this job. Like, that's not normal. So when she said that, I really did take a step back and think, okay, this is a big decision. I prayed a lot about it, but I also talked to my boss at the time. She was a former news anchor. And I asked, like, what is something you feel like I need to work on? And her biggest thing was in studio presence. At the time, I was a weekend sports anchor. I wasn't the main guy. So I only got 2 days out the week in studio. The rest I was out shooting stuff and doing live shots. And so I just didn't have the reps for it. But the main guy was about to leave within a month by the time I was having these conversations. And so she was like, look, you can make that jump for sure. I think you're ready. But at a certain point, you got to realize once you go to Austin, you're going to be the third person over there in line. So you're not going to get any reps in studio. You're already not great at it, to be honest. And so when are you ever going to get better? But if you stay, you'll be 5 days out the week. You'll just have a lot more reps to be in studio, and you'll be more well-rounded as a sports anchor. And so that on top of, like I said, my church, I just joined that church. I just started doing more of the youth ministry there at the time. Honestly, a lot of the athletes went to my church. And so I was building relationships with them off the field on a spiritual level. And then it would be cool to like speak to them on the field after games. And so I just didn't feel like it was my time to leave yet. And yeah, I actually declined the offer. My mentors thought I was crazy. Some of my friends thought I was crazy. I mean, jumping up 100 markets after a year into the business is not heard of. But I want it to be all around. And that's something that I would give advice to is just because there's an opportunity there doesn't mean you have to take it. Are you ready mentally, physically, spiritually? And do you feel like you have the skill set to really thrive? Because there's a shot that I would have been overwhelmed here if I would have made that jump. And I don't know if I would have been as embraced as I am now because of my personality, because I didn't have that comfortability of being who I am on camera yet at the time. And so who knows if I would have found it here or if I would have got drowned out. So yeah.
I was thinking that, like, you can tell your personality and who you are, and like if you're not comfortable with that, I could have definitely seen that be stifled a little bit, and you're like, I still have to prove myself or find more, and how do I do that? You said some relationships as well with the players. I was going to ask you when you were talking about doing high school in Austin. Do you ever talk to them? Like, do you have conversations about where they want to go to college? Do you ever hope that you like see them where they land and want to follow them?
Yeah, it's been really cool to be honest. That's one part of the job they don't tell you about in college.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you get to build relationships with these people and with these young men and young women throughout their careers. And now you're seeing it happen where now I'm at the college level, and I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like I was just covering you in high school. So I mean, there's a couple examples. There's a guy in Midland, Chris Brazel. I covered him my second year in the business, and now he just got drafted by the Carolina Panthers as a wide receiver, the
Oh,
third round
wow.
pick. So yeah, I sent him a text, sent his mom a text. Stuff like that happens all the time. McCallan Young, he was a backup running back for Vanderbilt last season, and also the starting running back Cedric Alexander. I covered him when he was at LBJ here in Austin, and so those type of relationships are things that you just covering the kid. Like they're really good. They're gonna go to the next level, cool. But then once you start building an actual relationship and you get to text them and encourage them throughout their careers, and you see them continue to build, and all of a sudden they're in the league, and you're like, oh my god! Like, I remember you were like 16 years old. Like that's crazy. And so that type of stuff has been a blessing that I just didn't know I was going to be able to experience, and to see young men and young women grow up and become adults. It's wild. Another one I'll give you is Hannah Wells at Texas. I covered her in West Texas. She was at a small school in Kahoma, 3A. She, of course, no reason for her to be playing 3A softball, to be honest. She won like back to back to back state championships, MVPs. And so now she's at Texas and she's killing it. And everyone's like, oh, these true freshmen's going crazy. And I just expected this. I've been seeing it for the past 3 years. So that type of stuff that helps me now when I go into those press conferences and I interview them, that wall of media to athlete has been broken down, and it's just Cory. And I think that's something that's benefited me because I treat them as people when they're in high school. So
I think that's awesome too that you are talking about the relationship and also knowing back when you first got that offer that it wasn't the right time for you. And I feel like that plays so big right now to where college football and college athletics is with this transfer portal, and they just up and leave, right? Like you don't have that relationship or the mental notes, right? You just are, people are saying you could leave and go make more money. And so people are out the door and they don't know what it means to really build and have that connection with the university and, the alumni and all of those things. And have you seen a huge difference in that regard when you're talking to all of these athletes and, from high school into college and then wherever else that they go and how that's transitioned?
yeah, that relationship part is hard to build because of transfer portal. There's a lot of factors, not just transfer portal, it's also just access has been limited. I was actually talking to Kirk Bowles earlier today on one of my pods called Game Day Grace. And he was just speaking about how that access that he used to get back in 1990 is completely different than the access that we get now. And, you got to really build relationships with some of the football players, but now football is so closed off. It's tough. Now, I've been blessed, just because I just been able to connect in different ways. But when it comes to, I would say basketball specifically, basketball's been tough. Like you have a whole team that's gone after a year. And it's like, man, I was really getting cool with this dude by the end of the year, hoping that it can build into something. And then you factor in the good guys that are gone anyways because of draft. So it's really just like you have a whole new team every single year in basketball which is why I enjoy women's basketball. Because they actually stay, and I feel like not so much this off season, but they actually stay. Yeah. Yeah, kind of tough. But yeah, they actually stay. So that's been able to, like Rory, for example. I'm real cool with her pops, and just be able to build that relationship. And now she's in the W, and that's been cool to see her get her first buckets. I think yesterday. And so that's the type of stuff that I enjoy about the business. But yeah, it's been tough. That transfer portal, it's like the hanging fruit that, like, do I take it? Do I not take it? Or do I stay and watch what I'm planting over here grow? Or do I grab the thing that's already fully grown? But you don't enjoy the process of seeing it grow. I don't know, y'all like plants, but like as you see the plants get bigger and bigger, like, man, I've really been consistent with my work. I've been consistent putting this plant near the sun and watering it, and now I'm seeing the effects of it rather than just already buying a plant that's fully grown. So that process is something it's a little bit deeper and it means more.
I feel like you're dropping so many gems right now, by the way. And I honestly just appreciate you sharing your background, because there's just not a lot of people like you anymore who really do that slow work, and you're intentional, you're pure, you're authentic. And so I'm excited for your future, because I can tell it's going to go to the biggest of places with your approach. These days, we were talking about social media before we started recording, right? These days, covering sports, especially Texas athletics, like, people are looking for something, you can monetize that type of thing, but I can tell this is your real passion. And I want to go back to what you were saying about your dad, because I'm so curious, when you're putting together a story or you're putting out tweets and capturing information for people, are you running your stats always by memory, or how often do you have to go and double check them?
No, I definitely double check, because as journalists, you don't want to be wrong. I'm such a perfectionist, and that's my problem. I kid you not, the amount of times I have Googled Vic Schaefer just to make sure that I am spelling his name right. I've been spelling his name the same for the past 4 years. But just like, maybe this is one time. Maybe one time I mistyped something. But I'm that type of perfectionist where I have to double check and triple check everything. Now it makes me a little bit slower when it comes to producing my shows.
Yeah.
But I think the audience appreciates it. And I think you can also see the transparency, the authenticity, and just the effort that I put into everything I do. Even my videos, like I am so particular about every single little thing, because I want it to be great and I want it to be awesome because my name's on it. And so if you don't take pride in what your name is on, then what do you take pride in your life? That's my question. So yeah, I am a very big perfectionist. And so yeah, I double check stats even if I think I know them. I'm gonna Google, text, chat GBT. I'm gonna figure out a second source to confirm it.
Cory, like, preach. Okay, they're laughing because they know this is me, and like I triple, like but they love to throw out me doing like predictions and what do you think about this, and I'm like, I hate it. I need an analysis. I want to know like why I'm choosing this. Sometimes
I'm not a big predictions guy.
Makes sense.
Y'all are the same human.
Not a big predictions guy at all. It's like I could give you like what would happen if this person wins or if that team wins.
Yeah.
How they would get there by these stats. Like, they're going to win if they do this, and they're going to win if they do this. But you want me to pick who's going to win? Nah, I'm not. What?
No.
You got me messed up, bro.
I feel like we need to hold the both of them down. Like, we need to practice this, you guys.
But I think that goes to like the type of work that you do and want to do, Cory, because I mean, you're making me think of last season when one of the people who does cover Texas athletics, they like predicted for football and they said that like we were going to lose, and Sark like clapped back about it. And I think like that's not the type of like media that you're in anyways. Like that's probably why you don't like it, because it can take you into less factual, more entertainment category, right? And I think with sports, it's hard because it's like kind of both.
And it's weird. Yeah, you're totally right, because ESPN,
like clickbait,
the E is for entertainment in ESPN, to be honest. And so like that does play a factor in our job. But again, the athletes and the coaches try to pretend like they don't see it and watch. They watch and hear everything. Vic Schaefer's the only one that's really like open about like, yeah, we watch everybody every night. Now he says he watches KB first. I will say that.
Hey.
But Vic does say he watches every newscast. And so I'm not about to put my face out there and say, oh, I think Texas is going to lose, even though I may be thinking it. But I'm not going to go out and say it. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, because I'm going to get clipped And then someone's going to get that clip, and then they're going to be like, hey, can you believe Cory predicted y'all not to win? And that's what I fear. Yeah. Or I'm going to get called out in front of the presser.
But
Like,
sadly, your network's views would likely go up because of something like that, which makes today so difficult. Like, it's so silly.
Yeah, it's a wishy-washy business because it's like, okay, do you care about your image or the station's views? You know, and so that's kind of what you got to toe the line on. Now, I feel like this isn't my last stop, so I'm caring about my image a little bit more, and my station knows that for sure. We had those conversations, but I think if my image is great, then the station's image is great, and that's the way I view it. So.
I love that you just brought up your image because I feel like that is something else I wanted to chat with you about. You know, the three of us love a game day fashion. We love all the outfits. And Mr. Cory, you do too. So give us a little tea. Where does this love of fashion, putting on that perfect tailored suit that you like to wear, where does that come from?
Remember? Started the conversation. I grew up with three sisters.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
I'm the youngest of them. So,
okay.
You
got dressed up.
Yeah, I got bullied growing up by them. I remember I was in 7th grade. 7th grade was when it like switched for me, because 7th grade, you're trying to impress girls, whatever. And my sister Courtney, she told me, you're never gonna get a girlfriend if you keep dressing like that. And at the time, I wasn't doing nothing crazy, mismatched socks or anything like that, or mismatched shoes. But I get what she was saying. I wasn't really wearing. I wouldn't really wearing nothing crazy.
Socks on.
Oh wow! Different colors or just like brands?
Just whichever two I grab out of the bin.
Oh, you just wilding out. It's like no one's gonna see my feet, so who cares? That's crazy. Respect though. Do what you want. But yeah, that's where it kind of started. I got bullied by my sisters, and then eventually I started to really take notice. One of my favorite artists growing up when I was in high school was A$AP Rocky. He's West Coast. Well, I think he's from New York, but he does a lot of Houston rap, a lot of chopped and screwed music, and so that's where I connected him on. But then, like, he really started to get into the fashion world, and watching what he would dress like. And believe it or not, when I was in college, I had braids. I had like A$AP Rocky braids, and that was something that, like, okay, cool. Like, I want to get into this fashion, whatever the trend is, and I want to look good. Like, sorry, like I think that's something that a lot of, honestly, guys, we don't really care about, and I think that's something that's crazy to me, because how you want to find a partner, or keep your partner, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just felt like that's something that I always enjoy. I love different colors. Now I'm at a point where when it comes to my streetwear, I'm a nude guy. I love different like nude colors. When it comes to suits, I'm more like popping, like pop colors. And so yeah, that's where I've found my lane a little bit in the fashion world. But I enjoy a good outfit. Look, I love retail therapy. I'm not gonna lie to you. For my birthday, I went to San Marcos Outlet and walked around, copped some things, and that's like heaven on earth for me. It's just walking around a mall and just trying on clothes and seeing this works. What can I match with this and that? So yeah.
So Taurus coded. That's exactly what I was doing today. I was online shopping. I had the best day of buying things for my summer trips, and I was real happy about it.
See, we liked it. We liked it.
Minor things. The minor things.
Yeah, that's the best thing is when you try on something. I used to be bad with like, oh, I could maybe rock this. Maybe when you're in the dressing room, fitting rooms. And I would buy it, and you get home like, man, that was dumb. Like, I just wasted bread. And I'm not the type. I'm not gonna return it. I'm that guy. Yeah. I can't return it. I'm not just. I don't want to walk back in and be like, I'm sorry. Or if there's a messed up order, that's why whoever I do marry, I tell all the time, like, I need that woman to be like, hey, you messed up his order. You just send it back to the kitchen, because I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna eat it. I could have ordered something.
You're not gonna say anything, but you want to say something, so that's gonna be the job of your future wife. She's gonna take.
I just don't want to cause any trouble.
No, I'm the same. I don't care. If someone brings out the wrong food, I just don't care. I'm like, whatever. First of all, I've waited 30 minutes for this food. Like, it's just not that deep for me. And I just don't want to embarrass anyone. These servers are working so hard. I'm the same way. Like,
And I used to serve myself. And so, like, I kind of know the business and know what that's like when, you mess up an order. It's kind of embarrassing as a server, if you type the wrong thing in. And so I'm just like, you know what? Maybe they're having a long day. You never know what other people are going through. So I just kind of just take it for what it is. I'm like, maybe God wanted me to have this meal today. Or, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it is. And so, I'm just not a big return guy. And when it comes to clothes, that's my downfall. So now I only buy stuff when I put it on. It's like, okay, like this is fire. And I've gotten better with just knowing what I like and what I don't like.
Do you online shop?
Yes, for certain stores, because I know the type of size that I am for that store, because I only shop at that store online. Now, there's stores that I shop in store for that I don't shop online because I don't know. I just feel like when I go into that store, particularly, it's like, okay, bet. Like I know what rack to go to, what size to get. But for some reason, I feel like online is just different. I don't know what it is. I just feel like when I shop online from a store that I go usually inside of, when I get the online product, it's just not as fitting as I thought it was going to be. So I have my online stores and I have my in-store stores. So I know that's weird. I know it's weird.
What is your shoe game like?
Oh wow!
wow!
Yeah, I used to be a big sneakerhead in college, and like right out of college, I've tailored off because I kind of got the shoes I need because of that phase of my life. But recently, I started to be. I know my wardrobe has changed over the last 2 years, so a lot more, like I said, oversized and nude colored things, and more just professional street. That's how I like to call it. Like
grown man.
Yeah. That's You're totally right. I literally said that the other day to my homie. I'm like, bro, I'm dressed like a grown man now. Like, it's crazy. And so it's good though. Like I like the vibe. I like buying. I bought some loafers the other day, and I'm like,
look out.
What am I doing buying loafers? Just for not suits, but just to walk around in and to match with the slacks that I just bought. I'm like, I'm wearing slacks out. And that's something that, back 4 or 5 years ago, I'm wearing ripped jeans, you know how the phase, the skinnies and all that. It's like, that was a crazy phase, by the way. Crazy phase.
That is.
But now oversized slacks, oversized t-shirts, tucked in shirts, like that type of stuff is something I enjoy wearing. So shoe game, it's good, but it's becoming more professional, loafer, and stuff like that. Boots, by the way,
I was gonna say that's what I was waiting for. Yeah, boots.
Got a black pair of boots. Got a black hat when I was in Midland, so it took me a while to get the black pair of boots to match. But I'm still not like comfortable in them. No, do they ever get comfortable? I mean, they do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was on a rodeo. I was like, bro, this might hurt.
I was gonna say, like, maybe it depends on the brand. Like Devin and I have a pair of shoes pair of boots that kill us for game day.
We've had them since college. Like they never got comfortable.
Wow. Still rocking them, I bet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're cute.
They're cute.
Yeah, they're cute. You got to. I feel that for sure. Yeah, I walked around the rodeo on mine. I was just like, this hurts. And the rodeo ain't no sitting down.
Nope.
You up the whole time.
Up.
Yeah. So that's a rough night.
Yeah, that is tough. Okay, I know this isn't really a prediction, but who's going to be the best dressed on the football team this year?
Great question. Great question. It's funny because I actually asked Cam Coleman and Colin Simmons this question at the Nike event. Of course, they all say themselves. But,
of course.
Yeah, of course. That is a great question. It's always usually a receiver.
Boo. No,
yeah, I know. I'm gonna go with Cam. Okay. I think Cam. I've seen some of his stuff for sure. Colin on the big street. Like I don't like that. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the whole I don't know how to describe it. Like a lot of graphics. Yeah, I'm good on that. And so I think Cam is up there. I've seen Kate Phillips and Grayson Littleton. They both got some style.
Okay.
Jonah Williams,
Jonah.
he had some good style as well. Haven't seen the new guys though. I only seen Cam because I saw him in person and talked to him.
Right.
But like Raleek Brown, or Hollywood, I don't know how they dress. But Jelani's the same way. Jelani's a big like graphic tee, streetwear, everything baggy. It's kind of like what the pros guys are rocking now, and so I understand. That's just not my cup of tea. But maybe by their standards, he got the best fit on him. So
I would love to see one of like the linemen, like either O line or D line, just like come out every week, just dropping fits.
hey, I'm telling you, DJ Campbell had some fly stuff last year. DJ was nice. Trevor Gooseby, he could put that stuff on too, though. I've seen some of his fits as well. So yeah, he don't sleep, now.
I loved the evolution of Arch last year because I feel like his outfits went with like how the season went for him. Like he was coming out just real docile, real chill, real business like. And then as the year went on, he kept getting more and more fresh. So I love that for him too.
As he should, though. You gotta pop your stuff. I know I've been playing well, so I'm gonna look well too. So.
Yes, here for it.
Yeah, that Cory got him right, huh?
Yes, for sure.
He called Ricky up too, like, let's get a little switch it up a little bit. Let's switch it up. Add a little personality.
You're cool with Ricky though?
We are. We love Ricky.
That's awesome. Yeah, I did a story over him about a year and a half ago.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, he did a couple of the first round draft picks. I think that's CJ Stroud's draft. He did CJ's suit. So interviewed him about that. Real cool dude.
He is. He was our time of Texas.
Yeah, we were in school together.
That's awesome. Yeah, he pledged Kappa, so I'm I'm Omega, so right year, wrong colors.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Right year, wrong colors, but it's all good though. We cool though. We definitely cool.
You're known for being pretty, right? He makes pretty suits. So
yeah. Hey, but we got smooth cues though. You know what I'm saying? I want to put that narrative out there. We always get the rough, always wild narrative. We can be cool, calm, and smooth too.
Okay.
You gotta talk to the right bruh. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they got that. They got that for sure. I give them that.
I love this little recruiting metric for the frats.
Yeah. But who are you going to call in Austin to make your suits, Cory?
I mean, yeah, Ricky's the guy, to be honest. He really is. It don't go that deep. The hate don't go that deep. I promise you. I want to look good. Yeah, for sure. I want to look good. I know who to go to, for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, amazing. God, there's so many things.
Man. Okay, back to Texas.
Yeah.
You've been spending some time with this team during spring. What is the aura? What is the personality of this team that you've seen so far?
Yeah, I like how they're all kind of, how can I put this? They're trying to not make it seem like this is an important year.
Yeah.
But we all know this is like the year. And so they have like this humble confidence about them, I feel like, because it's one thing to come into the year last year number one overall, but not really knowing who this team is. 'cause first year with Arch, first year with Wingo being the number one, secondary, you lose Jade, you lose Makupa. It's just a lot of unknowns last year. And you still have that expectation though, coming to the year. And now with the year underneath their belts, I look specifically at the offense. Of course, you got to rework on the offensive line, but Wingo having another year underneath his belt, Arch specifically, having that last 6-7 weeks of the season, I am been open about saying he's the best quarterback in the last 7 weeks of the season last year in the nation. And then now you added Cam Coleman. I really like Emmett Mosley and Dalen McCutcheon. Those two guys I think they're going to make a lot of noise this year, especially Dalen. I've been liking Dalen since last year as a freshman. Spring ball, saw him out there. I'm like, who is that? Number 17? Let me look. McCutcheon. All right, cool. I'll keep that noted. And so you have all these guys that now have experience, and hopefully not the number one rating to go into the year next year. So you don't have that pressure either. And so that's the vibe I'm getting. Colin Simmons, same thing. Like he knows this is his last year, and he knows that he said openly he's going to break the sack record. He came nowhere close last year, and so now it's like, okay, put up or shut up this season, and he has a calmness about him and an intent about him that is different than last year. And so I think everyone is just locked in, and they know what's at hand and what's at stake. And I'm really excited to see what they can accomplish.
Whew. So I want to hear about, like, okay, you alluded to the idea that yes, they know that this is the year, but they're trying to like kind of focus and not really speak about that. But last year they got a preseason number one. It's looking like that could very well happen again. What's the difference between last year and this year in terms of the vibe? Because for me, last year, like watching it all play out, I think they tried to ignore and tried to focus, but it was so loud and they couldn't. And I almost think like the whole shying away from it or trying not to address it, like, didn't work for them in the long run.
That's a great question. I think one thing that Sark told us that he was pretty open about was how they didn't do Culture Wednesdays until the fall.
Mhm.
And I think Culture Wednesdays is something that's so important for a locker room because, from what I've been told and what I've known is that like Sark is the one that leads it, and he's open about his past and his history at USC. And so when you set the precedent about here's vulnerability, here's transparency, I'm going to give this to you. Now I want you to do the same. You connect way quicker. You bond way faster, and you want to play for your teammate a lot harder. And so to do that now, this past offseason in the spring, Sark has been open about how that's been a huge difference in the way this camaraderie about this team is and how close they are. And I don't know, maybe I'm just, living in a la la land, but I think that does like mean something. I think having a genuine relationship with the brother that you're playing next to, because you know his story, you know his history, it definitely plays a factor on the field. And so that's why I feel like this year's kind of different, because not only are they doing that earlier, but now everyone knows this is their last year. There's questions about, is Arch going to come out? Is he not going to come out? Or Colin, and Jelani is another guy that's just like, this could be his last year. But everyone knows this is their last year. And I think with everyone on the same page, it's like, okay, let's go get this for our last ride. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest difference this year. And I don't think they'll get the number one seed. I really don't. I don't know who will, but I just don't think that voters will put them there because of what happened last year. And I think that would be the best thing for Texas to not get that number one seed. I keep saying number one seed, but it's like a ranking, so it's not. Y'all know what I mean.
Very early predictions.
But no, that's a great question. That's a great analysis, though, Devin. Like, you're totally right. They were doing the same thing. We don't number one seed. It's a long season. We're going game by game. Whoop-de-whoop. But I feel like this year they actually mean it, and they know what's at stake. Because you can't stumble against Florida this year. Like, it's just not possible. You can't miss the playoffs. Like, you just can't. Not in your final season with this group of guys. So.
But also, we should have made playoffs last year, even with our 9-3 record. Okay.
I mean, you're right. You're look. Yeah, I have my soapbox on KView. I don't know if y'all.
I have plenty of soapboxes as well.
yeah. I definitely was talking my stuff. Now, do I understand why not? Yeah, I guess. But like, come on, like they had the closest margin of a loss to Ohio State last year, like at Columbus. So what are we talking about? I just didn't think that loss should have even been like talked about. And the whole argument about like, well, don't lose to Florida. It's like, well, you're not playing the SEC, so like, you don't know what's going to happen. And it's all about like oh my gosh, it just blows my mind how people don't take into the fact of like the storyline and what's going on in that time of the year. If y'all look back, those players love Billy Donovan. They really did. And so at that time, Billy Donovan was on the hot seat, very hot. We were out there in Gainesville, and there were students coming up there saying, please beat us tomorrow so we could fire Billy tomorrow. Like that was a legit thing. And so these players hear that. The coaching staff hears that. And so what better way to keep this coach here, at least for a couple of weeks, than by beating Texas? And so I think that type of motivation is something that no one really talked about, but it happened 2 years prior. They did the same thing the year before. They saved Billy Donovan's job by winning like the last 4 or 5 games of the season because they loved Billy. And so I just think that type of stuff, you have to consider that if you're in the room voting, but all these people on part of the committee, they don't watch the games or they're not there. And I think you have to be there to understand like how good these teams really are and not just watch highlights. And I don't know how many of those committee members are actually at football games and seeing it on the sideline. So
Well, they told them they literally needed to rewatch some games before they did the final rankings. Like,
yeah, what are we doing?
what are we doing here? Why are you all on the committee if this is where we're at? I had the same conversation about Florida's coach. I mean, Devin and I were in the same car coming home from Austin. We were watching the Florida and Georgia game, and the last plays, it's like, if Georgia wins here, we're done. Like, we know what's happening, the refs, whatever. And then it's just like not even talked about, not a blimp on the radar. Like, no, Georgia beat them. You don't even talk about that. And then A&M versus South Carolina, not even talked about. But no, it's y'all barely beat Mississippi State. Anyways.
Yeah. I just realized I said Billy Donovan is Billy Napier. My bad.
I know.
Billy Donovan is the basketball coach. Yeah, he's a basketball coach.
He was the OKC coach at one time. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah. He was a Florida coach. He was a Florida basketball coach before OKC.
Okay.
But yeah, Billy Napier. My apologies.
Yes.
Going on a rant. Just going on a rant.
Here we are. Going on a rant.
Going on a rant.
Casual Monday.
But yeah, 3 losses. I mean, that's crazy how that's the benchmark. But I get it. You know, like you gotta take care of who's on your schedule. But you look at the schedule this year, it's like, what if Texas loses to, I don't want to say it, but like LSU, Ole Miss, and then Ohio State?
Mm-hmm.
You telling me they're still not gonna be a top 12 team?
Yeah. Right. The thing is, the SEC took away one of the buys. Yeah. This year is going to be the litmus test, and I think it's like fun to hate on Texas, and that's why we didn't get in ultimately. I think because it was like newsworthy to not put us in, because we should have been in. We were playing great football at the end of the year. I think this year it will be, I told Michelle and Angie this, my fear is that it'll be a 9-3 team and they put them in. And I fear that might be us, but we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to lose that many games, but it's just, I mean, it's inevitable. So I like that more than a 24 team field.
Oh my gosh. I just can't fathom. I can't fathom that many teams. Like the fact that 16 is getting thrown around. I'm just like, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. This isn't basketball.
No.
Like there is no Cinderellas in football. Like you got to tackle people. Mm-hmm. You don't just got to make shots. So like,
and the money is different. The talent is different. Like,
yes, you saw it with JMU. Yeah, I mean, they went up to Oregon and got spanked. Like
I was just gonna say, just put the right teams in. Stop doing this like automatic stuff. Like, yeah.
I just don't. I understand. You want to give everybody a shot. But like, these are bodies on the line. Like these are legit. Like some dudes are just bigger than others.
Yeah, the math that people say too doesn't really make sense either, because again, like the talent discrepancy between the top teams and everybody beneath them just doesn't match, right? Like it's not the same.
Yeah, and I just don't see a world where any of those teams that barely get in, that aren't a part of Power 4, will win a championship. Right. I just don't see it. And so, or even get to the Final Four. Like, I don't see them get to the semis. I don't know if they get past the quarters. Like, I just don't see them ever making an upset, per se. Now, maybe once every 5 years that happens. Mm-hmm. But you even saw Boise State a couple years ago with the Heisman runner-up. Didn't do anything. They couldn't move the football. And it's just different bodies, different coaching staff, different money, like you said, Angie. That's just plays a factor, unfortunately, when it comes to this sport. Basketball is not the same because you don't really have to tackle anybody. You just got to make shots. And I think with basketball, you can have Cinderellas because if you get a hot streak, then that's different. But with football, nah, it's grown, man. You got to actually. And the other thing is, like, how does the scheduling work then? If you do 16 teams, now you're talking about there's a lot of games and a lot of physical wear and tear on these guys' bodies throughout a college football season. I remember when Texas made it to the Cotton Bowl, and I asked Michael Taft before the game, like, bro, you're on like games 15, 16 now? Mm-hmm. Because, you got past the Clemson game, and then you play in the Cotton Bowl, and it's just like, then they play in the SEC championship that year. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, you're playing an NFL schedule right now, 16 games. And so he's like, yeah, like, you want to think of it as like you're preparing for the next level, but we're still in college. Like we don't have the NFL facilities. This isn't our only thing to do. We got to go to class. Like still, we got other things to worry about, and so it's tough on their bodies that play this many games. And I just can't imagine having to add another one because now we're talking about an 18-game slate if you're making it to the national championship, and if you're doing that in the SEC, man, you're not physically ready to play in the biggest game of your life by that time.
Nope. Yeah, it's the Wild West. It really is. It's all about money at this point, too.
Yeah, I'm about to say NIL. That's what it is. There's like NIL.
Well, even like games, right? Like they're people are gonna watch, right? How many times have we said like, "Oh, we're so bummed. Like now, what are we gonna watch now that football's over?" People are gonna watch, and the companies are gonna make money. The commercials, the ESPNs, the ABCs of the world, they are, but still, it's not college football.
I'm interested to see though. You're seeing this in the NBA right now. When will the streaming sites start to kind of dabble in to college football?
That is the most annoying thing. I'm like,
makes no sense.
And I have to go on freaking Amazon Prime to find the NBA game. Me and my dad.
That's wild.
It's super wild.
Yeah, like why am I on Peacock watching the Spurs? Like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense, and it's the playoffs. Like it's one thing if it's a regular season game, I get it. Like regular season, you try to make some bread.
Yeah.
NFL's doing it, I get it. But like playoffs, that's not accessible to everybody. That makes zero. But they're paying big money, and so I think this was just a test run to NBA just to see, okay, can Prime and Peacock can they pull this off for a whole season? And then it's like now we have our crews. Now they have the media crew, and so we can just pivot them over to the football scene. Now when the college sphere. And Netflix has dabbled in the NFL.
But do you remember the fight that they tried to do? That was bad.
Whoa, what fight?
It was glitching. There was a couple of fights actually.
That yeah.
Wow. Damn, you got me. I just remember Netflix. I just have a horrible memory of Netflix and football because they had Texans and Ravens on Christmas Day, and that's when Beyonce performed, and we got spanked. But
it was so embarrassing.
Erase that from memory.
We got demolished. Oh, Christmas. That was bad. But Beyonce was great.
I was gonna say, but Beyonce held it down for the H.
Made it all better.
For sure. But yeah, I just don't want that to happen. Is that they get into the college football sphere? Because to me, college football is so pure right now. You still have the traditions. I know some people are mad that you're losing a little bit of the traditions. I understand, like USC and Notre Dame, like that rivalry going away. It just doesn't make sense though for USC because they're in the Big Ten. They got a crazy schedule, but you still see some rivalries getting renewed, like Texas and A&M. So these conference realignments, yeah, they have pros and they also have cons. But I enjoy the fact that I get to see USC play Oregon and Penn State and Indiana now instead of just.
Maybe Notre Dame joins a conference.
They're not.
They're not.
They got the life right now.
They do.
Yeah,
they got their own TV contract. I think that whole thing about if they make it in the top 12, they're automatically in with the playoff now, which is wild. That is so
They're
wild.
working the system. Like wrote the playbook for working the system.
If they would have got in last year, I would have been so pissed. I would have been so pissed.
I kept saying if they got in last year, it was like, well, maybe they did figure it out. They're not in a conference and they were able to make this work, and then they didn't. And I was like, okay, maybe not. And then they got this whatever rule in there.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. It's in the past.
Well,
that's a good note. You hit that note, by the way.
Yeah.
Cory, we are so appreciative of you for joining us today. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can follow you. And
yeah, for sure. I've been blessed to have a unique name. So if you just type my name in, Cory Mose, no S, not Moses. I get that a lot. Just Cory Mose. And you can find me anywhere: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I think it's Cory_Mose TV on IG to be exact. But everywhere else is just my name, Cory Mose. So yeah, you can find me there. A lot of content on Twitter. That's my main scape. Trying to do a little bit better on TikTok. Try to be more personable with TikTok, to be honest. Like. Show the fits. I did like a Culver's review today. First time going to Culver's. By the way, fire. Gas.
Yeah, was amazing.
Oh my gosh. First time ever. I'm like, this has been here this whole time?
Do you have some custard?
Did not have any custard. So I need to go back to get the custard and the cheese curds.
Oh,
The other two, yeah, I need to go back and get the. I just had a Butterburger, I think that's what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, fire. And so I'm a fan. I'll be back. So I'm trying to do more stuff like that on TikTok, and then of course IG. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is too much fun, Cory.
I know.
Man, have me back anytime. I'm always available. I'm always here. I promise you. I'm always down to talk. And like I said, this is my comfortable space. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.